Lying about your steroid use is one thing, editing your photos and videos to make yourself look better is another, but to do both, well, that's quite bad. There's an issue with this video that most people probably missed, and it's probably not what you're expecting. Now, no, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it's 18-year-old taking gear and all stuff like that, right? This video is not about that, right? Just look at the curvature of that wall. There's no secret that nowadays more and more teenagers are starting to take steroids, PEDs, SARMs, perhaps even peptides or something like that. Peptides being not as worse as SARMs and steroids, but you get my point, right? And this really isn't hard to miss at all. If you literally go on TikTok or Instagram, you can just search it up and then there'll be loads of videos that it may even be on your friggin' For You page anyway. You'll see a bunch of kids taking steroids, or you can go back on my channel the last couple months, couple weeks, or whatever, and you'll see that I've made videos on this, and other guys like, for instance, Colton or something like that have made videos on it as well. It's not a new thing, and it will continue to get worse. And someone like Gentilelifts is no different. This guy has been blowing up over the last few years or so for his crazy lifts, and to be honest, crazy impressive mass on his physique.
World record dumbbell press attempt!
Let's see if I can do it!
Let's go! Come on! This was made possible by taking 10 grams of creatine daily.
He's only flipping like 19, and he's just turned 19, but I think he's been doing this since he was like 16 or 17 or something like that, putting up crazy numbers. Of course, being one of these guys who's like obviously fake natural, but everyone goes along with it anyway, just because, you know, his videos are like entertaining to watch. I don't necessarily find them entertaining, but I know some people do at least.
This back workout is gonna make you squeal like a pig.
Now, the reason he's quite big is because he is overweight. As you can see in his physique, is a higher body fat percentage, and I think him taking steroids isn't freaking helping at all, if that makes sense, in his overall health. But lying about steroid use is one thing. Being freaking overweight is another thing. But what about doing something which, okay, wait, it's not worse, but it's arguably on the same freaking tier as lying about steroid use? Because he did that, and he got caught. And in this video, I actually want to go over why he's doing it, why he's not the only one who's doing it, and the issues that this causes, because trust me, it freaking gets quite bad, so stay tuned for that. But first, here's a word from someone that we all know.
I would recommend to all of you, subscribe to Cal today and watch this young man keep bringing you the bangers.
Now, as you can see, we're back in the studio. AKA my bedroom. But anyway, it is good to be back. I like being in this setup with the colors and everything like that. It is sick. And also I wanted to add to that as well that we're coming up to the end of the year and we're so close to 5k subscribers. I know that sounds so flippin' niche, but if you could support the channel in some way, in any way possible, whether liking or subscribing or hyping the video, whatever that does or anything like that, I would greatly appreciate it. Honestly, it means more than you would think. And I don't just say that flippantly. I do genuinely flippin' mean that. Anyway, I was scrolling through my For You page recently and I saw this video of Gentilelifts recently, which went super viral, right? He just turned 19 and he was showing off his lifts and stuff like that. The guy looks freaking crazy, but is he being honest? There's an issue with this video that most people probably missed, and it's probably not what you're expecting. Now, no, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it's 18-year-old taking gear and all stuff like that, right? This video is not about that, right? Just look at the curvature of that wall. Just look now, and then look at it here. Do you see what the issue is? He's editing the video. Wait, did you see that then? Or did you hear me fully break it down to you in that short there? Yes, the guy is editing his videos to make himself look better. Basically, what he's doing is he's editing it so his freaking waist looks smaller and in turn gives him that better V-taper, if you know what I mean. I actually made a video about this recently, talking about the importance of shape in bodybuilding, but also on social media too. If you have a better shape in regard to small waist and larger clavicles, it gives you a much better, unique and appealing and aesthetic, most importantly.
Eyes in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause
an aesthetic physique, which is going to be very appealing to many people on social media and make you stand out, like the guys of, or should I say guys like Jeff Side, David Lade, John Skywalker, Ziz, Chesbra, and a bunch of other people, like even recently Dorian Sriracha or something like that, have these freaking crazy physiques. And of course, many people like them just because of their physique alone and not necessarily just because of their content, if that makes sense. However, this guy doesn't really have an aesthetic physique. He has more of a mass physique, and he plays to his strengths quite a lot. If you were to look through his page, he does the same two poses every time, whether it be a most muscular or sort of like a Lee Priest arms above the head type thing to basically like exaggerate his shape as such, if that makes sense. And the reason he does that is obviously just because of his mass in the most muscular, and he's trying to exaggerate his shape by editing his photos basically.
200 pounds at the start of the bulk. Working at Chipotle took the bulk to a whole new level. Then I went insane and trained like every lift was my last. The result? I got huge. Now I can launch a fully grown gorilla.
And the reason he does that is because he's a higher body fat percentage, as I said previously. And because he's a higher body fat percentage, he's going to be holding more fat around his waist, which makes his waist look bigger. And in turn, you know, he doesn't look as aesthetic. He's going to look more boxier and, of course, more out of shape as such, even though he'd probably have like a strong man physique, if that makes sense. Someone who's, you know, a higher body fat percentage, but still strong nonetheless, because, of course, this guy is strong. In fact, I was scrolling through his social media recently, and there was this picture, right? This is the closest thing I could find to him showing like his proper waist and stuff like that, which is basically him taking a picture of his back in a mirror. But he chooses not to show his waist, and I freaking really wonder why.
Tristan Lee, you inspired me to bulk.
I want to get as big as you one day.
I deserve to be called mommy because of the rack I've built. To grow your chest, lift some heavy dumbbells.
It's because he's fat and he needs to lose weight. Like, that's kind of the simple point of it. But it depends what his ultimate goals are. If he's trying to pursue more like strongman and powerlifting, if that makes sense, then being a higher body fat percentage perhaps isn't the worst thing that he could be doing. But of course, if he wants to do bodybuilding with that aesthetic look, if he's trying to Lee Priest max or friggin' Frank Zane max or Sergio Oliva, who else does the friggin' arms above the head pose, if that makes it? You get my point, right? That type of like pose, if you're trying to max like that, then ultimately he's obviously going to have to cut down and get to a lower body fat percentage. It's also just unhealthy for him as well. As a young guy, 19 years old, he's able to probably hack it, but he's a higher body fat percentage, right? And also he's taking performance enhancing drugs and not necessarily being honest about it. And if it's anything like his freaking mate, I think they're freaking mates anyway. They're both sponsored by the same company. Anything like Logan Dishman, freaking not bad.
And then upon seeing his blood work, the parents would have been 1,000% certain that he's not natural and very likely going to die shortly. His blood work is so bad that it makes Togi look like an angel. Literally. 600 milligrams of tren injected the day before going to work out with Larry Wheels. 600 milligrams. I, at my most abusive levels of steroids, could not handle 600 milligrams. And on top of that, he's using Ment. What is wrong with this kid?
Now, the whole reason he does this is because of his public image. Let me sort of give you an example as such. If you blow up on social media because of a certain thing that you do, whether it be a trend or how you look or something that you do in a style of content, if that makes sense, that's what you're going to be known for. If you deviate from that, then of course you're going to alienate some of your audience, and in turn you'd probably get less views. There's a chance you get more views, but you'd obviously get less views. An example of that in recent years, the fact I'm saying freaking recent years, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but Alex freaking Eubank. This guy's freaking whole image was the fact that he was lean and aesthetic. He was a more sort of modern era aesthetic guy. His whole idea was being low body fat percentage and having good shape. But of course, he wasn't building that much muscle because he was constantly in a calorie deficit trying to be single digit body fat freaking all the time, right? And I'm pretty sure his testosterone was in the bin. Many people said to him, look, mate, you need to freaking bulk. You need to get in a calorie surplus or even just at maintenance so that you're able to gain perhaps, or bulk, if that makes sense. And I know many people are going to freaking disagree with you there when it comes to the main gaining side of things, but we can talk about that if you want. But he made the decision nonetheless not to bulk or go into a mass gaining phase or just to stay at maintenance, but to hop on TRT because his testosterone levels were low at like 25 or something.
I was kind of feeling like, you guys have known, I've showed my test multiple times. I've ranged from naturally 215 at the lowest being shredded all the way to like 900. Naturally. So like my job is for social media, right? Like I do better. I'm known for being aesthetic and lean. When my body is like lean and aesthetic, I feel like less of a man. My sex drive is shit, my sleep is shit, bad energy, brain fog. It just isn't fun. Like when I have to be lean and like my test is at like 300, it just isn't a fun, like I don't like it. But then when I'm a little bit more bulked up and fatter, I feel a lot better, but I don't like that look as much personally. And I'm always like, if I could be 10% body fat or whatnot, like year round, but feel really good still, like I have like a crazy sex drive, with like crazy, you know, brain is dialed in all the time, really good energy, really good sleep, basically all the effects you have when you are at a higher level of testosterone, like feeling like a man.
And so you see what I mean? He didn't want to change his public perception that much to the point where people are going to start making fun of him. Alex Eubank's one of the biggest content creators in the last 5 years or so. If his whole image is him being lean and aesthetic, if he gets fat, he probably thinks he's going to get freaking memed on. And that's similar to Gentilelifts in this instance. Now, this guy isn't as big as Alex Eubank is in regard to his relevance in the gym community. However, he is extremely popular. And of course, that's why he's trying to edit his photos to make his physique look better. If he was just to cut down, he would lose his freaking strength, which is kind of what he's known for, like dumbbell pressing crazy amounts or like benching crazy amounts and whatnot. He would lose that strength, which in turn would obviously make his content look worse because it's not as like freaking crazy, if that makes sense, him benching like 8 plates and stuff like that. But also he would be smaller as well. He would have a smaller physique and he'd be not lifting as much weight, if that makes sense. And I'm pretty sure in his head he's probably thinking, I can't lose that image, otherwise I'm not going to be as popular. But perhaps he could go down a different route in doing, let's say for instance, a bodybuilding show, and in doing so, yes, he would lose weight and he would also lose strength as well, but his physique would look a lot better, and in turn he would probably get more popularity perhaps.
I'm the biggest! I'm the widest! What you gonna do? Just sit there? Get in the gym, lift something heavy, and don't put it down!
Now, I've said this before when it comes to lying about steroid use, but it relates to editing photos as well. And that's that it creates an unrealistic expectation, or just sort of like unrealistic body image, if that makes sense. Now, not trying to sound like one of these freaking soppy people of like, oh, you know, look at these guys who are in shape, that's so unrealistic, whilst I'm here being freaking fat, just like whatever, right? No, I'm not trying to say that. But what I'm trying to say is that, mate, this guy's 19 years old. How many people in general who are like in their 20s or 30s who go to the gym look like this guy? Who even have great genetics? They don't, because this guy is taking performance enhancing drugs, and also he's a higher body fat percentage, which makes him look bigger, and he's editing his photos to make him, or videos as well, to make himself look better. It's completely unrealistic, especially keeping in mind the fact that he has a young, impressionable audience who are going to look up to him and perhaps want to follow in his footsteps to gain popularity on social media and in turn try and get to his level. That literally freaking happened recently. I saw this video.
Watch me shoulder press 400 kg like nothing. Went straight to her plate, she declined a Tinder date.
Wait, that sounds really familiar, right?
Let's bench some scary weight. This public gym didn't know what was coming. I was getting stared at like I was from another planet.
Yes, you get my point. He's already influencing a younger audience. Someone who's 15 years old, probably taking steroids because of Gentilelifts, mate. It's that bad. Seriously, like it's going to affect more people. It's like a snowball effect, if that makes sense, of like, oh yeah, there's loads of teenagers taking steroids and posting about it. Then in turn, loads more are going to do it, if that makes sense. And it just gains more and more traction. Loads and loads of teenagers are going to start taking performance enhancing drugs because their availability actually goes up also. You don't take my word for that, and please don't go searching for them. I do seriously oppose people taking this stuff unless they really, really know what they're doing or they have a really good reason for this. So please don't go looking for that if you're a younger guy, please. But just keep in mind that a lot of these guys on social media are lying in some way, whether it be about their physique, whether it be about how much they lift. They could be using fake plates, they could be lying about their steroid use or their steroid dosage or anything like that. A lot of it is lies to make themselves look better on social media so they can get more virality. Keep that in mind when you go on social media next.